It's Monday. Oh, it's a very different day today. So I'm still attending my conference virtually. It doesn't start till late morning because it's over in Adelaide. I might head out. I'm letting go all the lines apart from the 4.5 spring and the breast line. Right, red stern line to go. This will be the first time I've actually been out on my own. At least the weather's good for it. Very nice boat, the red hull. Time for a cuppa. Aotearoa Chief is in at Portland, and we were up way past there yesterday morning. This is the west side of Limestone Island. It's been mostly kept bare of trees, and that's where juvenile kiwis are released until they become big enough to deal with any predator apart from a dog. Another overseas boat, I think. It reminds me I better take my fenders in, seeing I haven't got the steward to do it. Oh, there's looking up the eastern side of Limestone Island into the Marta River, and we carried on into Marta Creek, past some of the old limestone workings and cement works on Limestone Island, and then Portland, and behind where the Aotearoa Chief's currently tied up. There's an island here called Rat Island, which we could circumnavigate and catamaran to on a spring high tide. Although it's reasonably deep on the Limestone Island side, it fans out into quite a shallow bit just over there. Currently skirting the edge of the sandbank, keep out of the last of the incoming tide, and soon we'll take a turn to the right or to starboard and probably pop the jib up. My conference starts at either 10:30 or 11, but hard to know from the program. I've turned to starboard to pass port to port to this motor launch. Wind's still very light and virtually on the nose, so the thought of sailing might take a back seat at the moment. As you can see, there's not a lot of wind there. We can see the breeze is extremely patchy, and the channel's over there. Oh, we're in a wider part of the harbour now, so very gentle wind just off the port bow. Tide should be starting to go out, so we might stay fairly much where we are. while we've been attending our virtual conference, or attending conference virtually. Drifted fairly much as expected, although that leading light is getting a bit closer. And they're having their morning tea now. It's after 12, it's 12:30 here. I think we'll move to where we're going to anchor. This is anchored just west of Whangārei Point. Well, sorry, looks like it's on a mooring. Nice looking boat. Quite a lot of boats out here fishing, considering it's a Monday. Wind's virtually died again. Any wind noise is generated by us. Back in the main channel again. Outgoing tide. I think we'll go and anchor off NorthPort, which is about mid-picture now. Anchor's all ready to go. Chain locks off. Snake Bank, Mount Mania and Mount Aubrey. Yes, they are motoring. Okay, anchored at NorthPort. It's 1 o'clock, just in time to start the afternoon session. Outgoing tide and a few wee bits of wind here and there, but nothing of significance. So it's about, I don't know, coming up half tide now. We're in 5.7 metres of water under the keel. Another ship has arrived here and deposited soot all over my boat, as I saw it busy smoking away furiously. Maybe you can see it better now. Oh, they're using slings on this one, not the grabs we saw a couple of days ago. We have a near neighbour. I've opened the front door and the back door and hoping that a lot of the stuff will blow out. Oh, it's Tuesday. It's about 6:30. Shit's been loading all night. You don't actually hear it downstairs. It's obviously a bit dark, it looks in the picture, but being joined by a big motor launch. Forecast is very little wind this morning, maybe a little bit from south west, and then a bit of a northeaster coming up in the afternoon, so might head out to the chicks. That'll probably be a motor there and then a nice sail back home to the harbour. Looks like the vast majority of the soot from yesterday got blown away. Anchor's up, sun's up, and we're off. A little bit of a westerly at the moment. We'll just see what it looks like outside the harbour. And we were over in that corner there. Here's the one that made all the soot. Oh, it's got a launch on its deck. 2 launches. Looks a bit like an old tramp. Sometimes anchor just over here. It's usually a wee bit lumpier with any swell that's outside coming in. I want to expand the port this way, and so far I've been unsuccessful in getting consent. Here's looking across to Riotahi and Mount Aubrey. We've got an incoming tide, not much wind at all, so sailing was not a sensible option, and we're going to be going out there around Frenchman, which is the wee knob sticking up. Oh, there's Mount Whangārei on the right, Mount Aubrey on the left, and looking back up harbour. We had a heavy dew last night, and we get a few swirlies coming over Mere Bank, which is why we're veering our course quite a bit on the autopilot. Makes it quite easy to see where Mere Bank is, and then the rough stuff's when the water tumbles over the top into the channel. Sun start to appear over the ridge. We're just passing Frenchman Island, and then we have Busby Head, and I can see the hen. Don't know if you can, the mast's in the way. Hen Island ahead, Sour Rock on the right, on the left underneath the sun there's the chicks, and that's I think where we're going to head. Looking back through the gap between Frenchman Island and the mainland, Mount Whangārei in the distance. Oh, there's Smuggler's Bay where we were on Saturday afternoon. Nice night to be anchored there, and looking along in the direction of Bream Head and Peach Cove. It's between the two headlands there. Oh, I'll set a waypoint just to the west of the chicks. So says if we carry on at our current speed we should be there in just over an hour. Might actually throttle back a bit once we get out of any incoming tide here. There's Peach Cove just behind the side stay. So a nice place to stop. Well, really settled weather I think before you want to spend the night there. But we have had a wonderful time there with the cousins. Well, I've just got the starboard engine running and we're doing what, 1800 RPM, still 5.1, 5.2 knots over ground, and current fuel burn is 2.6 litres per hour. So I worked that out as being about 2 nautical miles per litre, which is pretty good. I'll do this for a while. Oh, there's Bream Head. We're now looking up the coast. It's Tarakura Head in the distance, past Whangārei, I think it is, Island. Right, update. From the right, Sail Rock, the Hen. And then behind the Hen we have Little Barrier Island. Chicks are still in front of us, as one would hope. Sun's got a bit higher. And back this way is the coast. And up there you can just make out the gables at Tutukaka. Next headland back is Tairuru. We have Ocean Beach here, Whangārei Island, and then Bream Head. We're still cruising along at 5 knots, doing just over 2 nautical miles per litre on one engine. I get Starlink to stow Dishy flat when we're moving. Seems a little point in it trying to catch up with whichever satellite it wants as we're moving around. Starlink would suggest you buy the next generation of Dishy, but it uses more power. There's only about 5 knots of wind behind us, so motoring still seems like the best idea. And AP Yorick, the autopilot, is currently steering and has been for ages. Right, reached the waypoint. Well, between the islands at the western end of the Chicks. That's Lady Alice Island ahead. Some rocks to work around, and then we'll pop into I forgot the name, South Cove, I think it is. Crayfishing, just picking up a pot now. There's a reef running diagonally to the southwest. So South Cove is starting to appear. There's 3 anchorages I've used here. The Chicks, this one Certainly was my favourite, as it had cell phone reception. All these islands are reserves, no landing allowed. Anchorage has sand, but rocks further in. Great snorkeling, but I don't think it's warm enough to do that at the moment. Right, anchor's down 8 metres of water. We're currently backed up and are in 6. And there's the hen. Always plenty of bird life. Even more first thing in the morning. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I think it's time for an early morning tea. We have another ship heading into Whangārei. It's hard to see from here, but I presume it's a cargo, not a tanker. It's just about midday. As forecast, the southwest has pretty much died out. Looks like it's starting to come in from the north out there. The darker patches the weed on the rocks. So with catamaran too, we're normally just a bit closer in, and if we were snorkeling we probably would be as well, but this is not a bad spot for today.